Hi there, I'm Mario, one of the designers and authors of Valhal, and I'm here to show you a little bit of the gameplay. But first I wanted to say something about our pre-production copy here. Obviously it's not final yet, some of the tokens are too thick, they will be a little bit thinner. In the final version we are not using the coins, the plastic coins now, they're still tokens, and also the dice are in the final version. So just keep this in mind, please. We have already set up the game for 2 players, so we can start right away. The game starts always in summer, as indicated by the bird here. The summer is not only warm and pleasant, it's also the time for raiding. It's now the turn of the starting player to pick a target to attack. To attack a target, you assign your troops to a ship and then move both cards to the target. The other Jarl also assembles his troops, chooses a target and attacks it. Now the fighting starts. The battle stats of the units are easily explained. Each unit and also each town card has a base attack. In this case it's 1. To the base attack you then add the bonus that is rolled by a beige die. And last but not least, every card has a hit point value. Let's start a battle. The attacking player rolls 1d3. The other player takes on the role of the defending village and also throws a d3. The attacker has now a final attack value of 4, while the defender has only 1. You then simply subtract the lower number from the higher number and you have 3. This is the damage dealt to the defending village. As the village has only 2 hit points, the village is defeated and it's time to loot. At first the player gets 1 glory point, so he moves the glory point marker to the next space to the right. He then gets to draw 1 loot card and reads it aloud. Fertile fields far and wide, and more cattle than we have ever seen before. We're going to need a bigger boat, or we will have to sell some of this stuff. Your warriors return with a boatload of livestock and a chest of coins. The player then draws the depicted loot on the bottom of the card. 3 coins and 3 food tokens. The player places the coins on the longhouse, which is basically your basic stockpile for every resource you have, and the food tokens are placed in the food storage on the bottom left of your settlement. At this point it would be the turn of the other player to attack, but to make it simpler we just skip this part. This concludes the summer raid. You're now back in your Viking settlement. Here you can build new buildings, train new troops or bring some sacrifices to the gods. Here every player can now simultaneously decide how he wants to spend his resources until the next summer. Because the thing is that you can only attack in summer. The other seasons you will sit in your village and try to make the best of it. Our player now decides to start recruiting 1 new Nordic warrior unit. He just simply grabs a card from the common supply, turns it around and places it next to the training ground. Producing units or building buildings in Valhal is a little bit different. It takes more seasons to complete a building process. The numbers show the individual seasons that need to pass until a unit, for example, is recruited. In this case it takes 3 seasons and 3 coins to recruit a new unit of Nordic warriors. As mentioned before, the construction of buildings works the same way. In this case our player decides to build a blacksmith. It will take 4 coins and 4 seasons to complete the building. You probably spotted more than 1 resource. We mentioned the coins and the food tokens before, but we also have the iron and wood tokens. They resemble already finished armor or building material for your buildings that the Vikings stole from the English. When every player is happy with their decision, it's time to end the season. The starting player starts his end of the season turn by removing the food token from the food supply. You need 1 food token there if you want to build anything this season. He then proceeds by removing all the coins from the building projects and turning them 1 by 1 to the next lower number. Then the players proceed like this in a clockwise order. If you want to learn more about the buildings, have a look at our in-depth look of the buildings of Valhal. To complete the changing of the seasons, the Jarl who holds the starting player token passes it to the Jarl to the left. Then the season marker is moved from the summer space to the winter space on the season display. Also, each Jarl receives 1 coin. This concludes the summer. The winter in Valhal is long and hard. At the start of the new season, the new starting player draws an event card and reads it aloud. The Great Hunt. Skadi has guided our men to rich hunting grounds. There are 2 ways in which you can benefit from this year's plentiful herds of deer on Fjörnheim. We can use this in 2 possible ways. Sacrifice it to the gods, or waste it as food for our people. Events always affect every player in the game, and the new starting player can choose first. Our opponent chooses the option to waste it as food for his people. So he gets 2 food tokens, which he needs if he wants to be able to build in this winter. Our player, on the other hand, sacrifices it to the gods, and he can draw 1 Benevolence of the Gods card and reads it aloud. Untold wealth. Your warriors return exhausted from the raid. They carry a chest full of worthless plunder and lay the objects out on your table. A heavy black stone, which appears slightly metallic, catches your eye. This was the material to craft a wet compass. When activated, you can draw a larger loot card instead of a lesser loot card, or a greater loot card instead of a larger loot card. Players can keep when activated cards until they see fit to use them. We fast forward now to the end of spring. The players continued with their building project and have drawn another event card. We are now in the end of the season of spring, and the players are about to finish their first building projects. Our player is now the starting player again, so he starts with the changing of the seasons. He removes the coins from his building project and also removes the food token. But instead of turning the warriors to the next lower number, he just turns them around and places them to his other warriors. He also placed 1 coin on the rune stone, and therefore he sacrificed it to the gods. He drew 1 Benevolence of the Gods card. Our opponent, meanwhile, finished 1 unit of warriors, 1 longboat and the warehouse. He also didn't have any food tokens left, so he used 1 coin, placed it in the food supply and used it as a food token. What he did there is basically buying food for his people. Now the season is changing again and we are back in summer. This concludes the first year of Valhal. You will now go on, recruit new troops, build more buildings, grow your settlement and attack bigger and stronger targets. You will get better loot and in the end you are able to gain back the favor of the gods. We have more videos on different topics of Valhal, so if you need more information you can check them out. Or if you really want to dig in, you can just download our rulebook. I really want to thank you for backing and watching, and I'll see you next time.